Hey, we just had a great webinar on goal and strategy session for 2025, talking with flooring pros all over the nation and how they can set their goals. What were those numbers? What kind of numbers can we get to? If you're doing a half a million, can we get over the $1 million hump? Can we get to 2 million, 3 million? Are you on your way to 5 million in sales? So we helped them set their goals, and then we talked about how to get there, how to figure out what your magic number is, and that is the amount of leads that you're going to need to reach your revenue goals. Then we talked about how to lower that number so you can reach your revenue goals faster with less work and less marketing dollars. And then 4 ways that you can add $1 million to your revenue next year. We think you have the ability to add $1 million over the next 12 months, and we're going to show you how. I'm going to show you 4 strategies that you'll be able to implement. So, whether you just got started in the flooring business or you're on your way to $5 million, we lay out strategies that are going to help you profit now in the flooring industry. So, grab a pen and paper. Let's get started.
Guys, well, thanks for joining me this year. I always love this. I've been doing this last few years, and it's always one of the best webinars is the goal and strategy setting, just setting the tone. I'm particularly excited about this year. Um, it's one thing that for us to individually plan, but it's another thing for our economy to blow up, as I believe it will. So for the goal and strategy webinar, we're going to be setting your goals. So your revenue goals for 2025, anything else you want to set, any other plans that you have to make. We're going to figure out your magic number, and that's how many leads do you need in order to reach your revenue goals. I'm going to show you, we'll dumb it down for you and make it simple for you to figure out how to reach those goals. It's not as much about the money as it is about the leads that you need in order to reach those revenue goals. And we're going to discuss how to lower your magic number. So your magic number is how many leads you need, but we want to lower that. It's kind of like golf. The lowest scorer wins. So if we can lower that magic number, it makes it easier and less expensive for us to get those to reach our revenue goals. And I'm going to show you 4 key ways that you're going to grow your flooring business fast in 2025. So the first question I ask is, I ask this a lot too when we're at the masterclass, is that when you're going on a trip, what's the most important thing for you to know? And that's your destination. And again, if you guys want to chime in or ask any questions along the way, feel free to give a shout out. So if you're going on a trip, I mean, we got to know where we're going. This year, we're going to the convention, in Orlando. So first, here's our destination. Then I got to get a hotel in the area. I got to get flights. I can build my roadmap to get to my destination. It's the same thing for your business. We got to know where you're going, and then we can build that map to get you there. So what are the things that you're going to do? So need to plug in that number, figure it out. We're not going to take a couple minutes, but I want you to think about your goals and what you want to do in 2025, this next year. Think about your total revenue goals.
All right, guys, I want you to take a second now and put your goals in the comments below. What would you like to do in 2025? Now, one of the strategies behind this is putting it out there in the universe, sharing it with people that you know. Share it with us here. I'd love to hear what you're looking to do in 2025. Please put your goal number down below. I can't wait to read your comments.
So first it starts off by where you're at. What did you sell in 2024? So hopefully you guys got a pad of paper and a pen and jot down that number. You have that number handy. We sent out a little worksheet. So hopefully a lot of you guys have this number handy. What's the total that you would like to sell in 2025? So if you did 750,000, do you want to be $1 million producer? Do you want to do $1 million more than you did last year? I really think I've been pushing this narrative because I've had a few customers that are on track to do $1 million more. So they're on track to do $1 million more in 2024 during a bad economy. Now we're going into a good economy. So I think everybody's capable of doing $1 million more next year. And these aren't companies that are doing 3 and 4 or 5 million dollars. These are companies that one's doing 1.5 million, another that's like 1.7. There's another one that's just above 2 million. So these aren't huge companies. These are companies that are only doing a million or two. And I've got a startup that they'll hit $1 million in their first year. Now, and it's funny when you're starting out, I think you could do over a million in your first year. Uh, and one way to measure that, I think by about the 6 month point, you should be at about 300,000. It takes a while to build up your foundation and get you to that point where you can start rolling and your marketing starts working better. We did in our first year, we did 750,000 in 11 months. And I think if we were going off, this was in 2015. If we were going by today's prices, we would have easily got to that $1 million plus in our first year. So maybe you don't have a revenue goal. I've talked to a couple people. It's like, hey, I don't want to be busier. I don't want to grow the business. That's fine. If your goal is to work fewer hours or be more profitable, having your mindset around your goals and what it's going to take to get there, that's what you want to do. Let's plan for next year and whatever that plan is. This is something I used to do every year. It's December 31st, 2025. What's the story you want to tell? So I like to write down a little story about what my sales were like, if I wanted a bigger showroom, if I want more sales people, and I'd also write down stuff for my personal life. Where do I want to be relationship wise? What are my goals with my health? What are my goals with my kids? Where do I want to be at? What's the story I want to tell in December 31st, 2025? I'm sitting around New Year's Eve party. What's that story I want to tell? Because then it's easier to go back and figure out how do we tell that story? What do we need to do to make that story come true? So I think for most people, a 30% increase, actually, I think 30% is the minimum. You guys should be planning on a minimum of 30% in most cases. A lot of it is about getting unstuck. You're in a position, maybe you've been there for a few years. So how do we get unstuck? And we got to figure out where we're at. So how long have you been in business? A lot of these questions I'm going to ask are the same ones I ask in a one-on-one strategy call when we're talking about working with each other. What are your total sales for the last couple of years? What's your profit margin been at? Um, and just to give you guys a good guide of 40%, and this is residential retail sales. A good profit margin is about 40% on hard surfaces. If you're getting more, that's great. You don't really want to get much less than that. I mean, if you're at 38, 39, that's okay. We could bump that up a little bit, but you want to be around that 40% profit margin. On carpet, guys, you can make bank on carpet, 45% plus profit margin easily on carpet. What is your closing rate? Is 50% is a good goal to get to. Hitting on all cylinders, of course, we want to improve, improve, improve. But if you're down there at 20, 25, 30, 40, and I've worked with companies that are at a 30% profit margin, we got to get that up to 50% or more. If you're a single producer, if you're the business owner, I expect your closing rate to be a little bit higher. If you have salespeople, we want that closing rate to average at 50% plus. So what are you doing now for marketing and how much do you spend? So we got to look at your marketing. How is it working for you? And it's been a tough game the last year. I mean, a lot of people are pissed off at their web companies when it's not really the web company's fault as much. There are things that they can honestly do better. On, I'm not too thrilled with any of the web companies. They're not very forward thinking. You have to be smarter than the web company. You've got to lead that dance. You've got to show them not only what do you expect, don't trust that they know what they're doing and they're going to do a really good job for you because a lot of the advice that they give you isn't very good. They'll tell you that they're Google partners. They know what they're doing with pay per click. And they ask you all the products you sell, all the areas you want to be in. And then what's your budget? And you give them a budget that isn't going to be effective. And they don't tell you that. And I don't think it's greed. I don't think they're just trying to get your business. Honestly, I think they don't know. And I would love to see marketing companies be more. And I've got a couple of partners that we're working with, and we're working with them and our clients to get better results for the money that they're spending. Now, if you're not spending enough money, we'll tell them that too. Look, if you can't afford it, well, then let's do some stuff that are free. Let's be more aggressive with the free marketing that you can't do. But we're looking for, what are your opportunities to grow? I've worked with companies that were doing great with lead generation, but they needed to work on other things. I had one company in Minnesota that was, or actually it was Wisconsin. It was cold. I remember that. But they were doing great when it came to lead generation, and they were switching their web companies. I'm like, why are you switching your web companies? Your lead generation is fantastic. You guys need to work on your sales process, and you need to work on, uh, they had so much stuff in their showroom. You need to clean up the showroom, and you need to work on other things, but you don't need to work on your marketing when you got leads coming in the door. So these are the things that we could work on: the better, more effective marketing, better sales presentation. Sales presentation is huge. Here's a funny, dirty little secret. I keep getting people telling me, hey, they like my videos. My videos are great now. They're seeing a lot of really good content. I got a little secret for you guys. What's gotten really better about my videos and my content is the thumbnail. It's my presentation of my videos that has gotten better, not the content itself. But again, the impression is that the videos are getting better, and that's because the way that they're being presented. The content is the same. Let's go back to Payless. I meant to show that here. There was that Payless ad where they created a store called Palessi, and they did a better presentation of the shoes, and they sold the same shoes for 10 times the amount that they sell at Payless stores. It was the same damn shoe. So instead of selling it for $35, they're selling it for $590. And these influencers are going, oh my God, the shoe is gorgeous. I would love to have a shoe like this. I would pay this much money. And they were buying the shoes. Afterwards, they refunded their money and told them about the experiment. But it was just the presentation of the shoe. So they took a cheap shoe and made a great presentation. I think a lot of you guys have a great product, a great experience, but a cheap presentation of that product or experience. So if you work on making that sales presentation better, you'll be able to sell what you sell for a higher margin and get a higher closing rate. So what we're looking for is always, what's that simple solution to getting unstuck? Knowing your numbers. And you get lectured all the time that you got to know your numbers. You got to know your numbers. And sometimes people get in the weeds with this stuff. Let's keep it simple. Let's not get in the weeds with our numbers. But all these are pretty easy to figure out. So, what's your average ticket? You could take all the customers or all the sales that you had last year, divide it by all the customers that you sold, and there's your average ticket. Um, if you want to get a little bit more accurate, go ahead and take out the outliers. Like if you sold some area rugs for $200 or $300, or you sold $150,000 job, a big contract job, you might take out some of the high and the low outliers to get a good idea of what my average ticket is. And then we're talking residential retail sales. So I would look at that versus commercial sales too, because there's a lot more we can do in residential retail market. Uh, we have a lot more control over our sales and our marketing than we do in the commercial market. So that's mainly what we're talking about here too. So if your total sales last year was 675,000 and you had 150 customers, your average ticket would be $4,500. What's your closing rate? Okay, so how many leads did you have? And a real lead. And a real lead is an opportunity to sell somebody. I don't count everybody that comes in the door. I don't count everybody that calls. I want to know what my sales performance is like. And the only way I'm going to know that is knowing my closing rate versus opportunities. I gave an estimate. Did I sell the job or not? So on the estimates that you were given, what is your closing rate? How many did you sell? So you take the sold jobs divided by the leads, that gives you your closing rate. So if you haven't figured that out yet, or you're new, here's some numbers that you can go off of just to give you some averages. I would probably use 40% as a closing rate. We want to be about 55%, but if you don't know your numbers, 40% is probably pretty accurate. Some people are really, really high, which there's usually two indications. If you're really high, it's one, you're not tracking properly, and two, your prices might be too low. So a good opportunity to raise your prices. I have seen a couple that are up there at 70% or 80%, and they're just outstanding salespeople. But so you could have an unordinarily high number, but if you don't know and you're guessing it's high, you're probably off. Um, for average ticket prices, so if you don't know that number, a good average ticket for hard surface only, we're talking laminate, luxury vinyl, hardwood's going to be a lot more, but tile, you're going to be in that $7,500 range. If you're selling a combination of carpet and hard surface, you're probably $5,500, give or take. And the average ticket, if you're primarily, most of your sales are carpet, you're probably a little bit lower, like $4,000. So for this exercise, what we want to do is choose $2 million. That's our goal. Average ticket in this company is $5,500, and our closing rate is 40%. I created this chart and put it up there the other day. I kind of like it. It's a pretty handy chart. And this shows you what you need to reach $1 million in sales. So you can download this chart. I can provide it for you after the call. Geraldine will email it out to everyone, but it can show you based on your average ticket, how many sales do you need to reach 1 million? And then how many sales do you need each month? And then based on your closing rate, how many leads do you need? So you can plug in your closing rate and figure it out. I gave you the formula to do this all yourself, but here's just a quick cheat sheet if you wanted to use that chart. So let's say last year we did, in my company, we did a 1.1 million. And play along with me, say we could do $1 million more. Let's call it 2 million. Just round it off, make it easy, and make it even. So our goal in 2025 is to get to $2 million in sales. My average ticket is $5,500. That means I need 363 sold customers to reach my goal. So how many leads do we need? If my closing rate is 40%, that means I need 909 leads this year. So let's break it down. That's only 76 leads per month. I need 76 opportunities to reach my $2 million revenue goal. So we can track every month. We should be tracking this as the month goes on. See how many leads we have, see where we're at. We need 76 to reach our revenue goal. And let's get to our magic number, which is 17 leads a week. So every week you should have a weekly meeting where you're going over your numbers and you're tracking, okay, how many leads do we have? What's our closing rate like? What's our total sales amount like? Don't make it complicated. It doesn't have to be too complicated. Try to keep it simple. If you're using a program like FloorZap, it'll be really simple to crunch these numbers and coming up. And it puts a lot of perspective on it. It puts perspective as to where you need improvements. If you're getting the leads and the revenue's not coming in, okay, we probably need to work on our closing rate. So what can we do to maybe close some more of these deals? Can we reach out to people? So having these numbers and discussing it on a weekly basis, and again, don't get crazy. Don't get in the weeds with this stuff. You want to do stuff that's effective. So let's try to keep it simple. have these conversations with our sales team and try to make incremental improvements every week. So again, in this case, our magic number is 17. And one of the things I didn't put it down here, I should have. Everybody, you guys should all have a whiteboard. So wherever you have your meeting or in an office or someplace in your warehouse, that on your whiteboard, you should have what your total revenue goal is for the year. And then you should put your ongoing number of where you're at. Now, well, number one thing you can do for your salespeople to get them more interested is have that vision, have that goal. As a team, you guys are trying to reach a certain point. You look at a football team, they're trying to reach the Super Bowl. So everything that they do is on how to reach the Super Bowl, how to win each individual game. Where do they need to improve? We all need to do the same thing in our small business is, what's that revenue goal? What are the little things we need to do and improve to make incremental changes to improve our business? Now, when our salespeople see that, they become part of that. There's a big difference between working for a company and having a job and being a part of something that's going to grow. You're going to find that the salespeople love the job. They love the business. They like being a part of it. They'll celebrate the wins along with you. They'll brag about it to their friends, their family, and that'll result in more business, happier customers, happier employees. Now, it's fun when we are working to achieve a goal and to see where we're at and to go out with your company and celebrate. If you don't track and you don't know where you're at, then it's just a job and it's going by their paycheck and what they're doing. And maybe I can get a better job someplace else. So, what are some ways that we can reach our goal faster? Again, what we want to do is lower our magic number. So, the first thing that you could do is raise your prices. Okay. It's not hard to do to raise your prices. Sometimes it's not just raising the prices, you got to improve the sales presentation to justify that price, even to yourself. The funny thing about raising prices is they say public speaking is our greatest fear. The greatest fear when you're talking to a business owner is raising their prices. I mean, some of you right now, your heart is beating a little bit faster. Like there's this fear that gets built in when you start thinking about raising your prices. You're like, everybody's going to know I'm going to lose business if I raise my prices. No, it doesn't work that way. You'll be able to raise your prices, and in fact, you'll end up getting more business. You won't lose business. If you did raise your prices by 10%, you would have to lose 30% of your business just to be at a break even. You're not going to lose 30% of your business. And the cool thing about raising it by 10% is all of that is profit because your expenses aren't changing. The only thing that changes is maybe the commission for the salesperson goes up a little bit, which they won't be too upset about that. But everything else is profit. Increase our closing rate. We got to get better at selling. Some of the things that I'm going to show you is how to sell better. I'm going to show you that right here on this phone call. We got to raise our average ticket. Again, raising our prices. Well, it's not just raising your prices. Raising your average ticket is giving them an opportunity to buy better things. One thing I've discovered is there is no low price leader. I always ask people, who's the low price leader in your market? Nobody is crushing it by giving low prices. It just doesn't attract customers. What attracts customers is constant marketing. So you might see people like Empire, and it's annoying as hell seeing their ads, and a lot of them are dishonest. Their prices aren't low, but they are crushing it not because of their discounts and their sales. They're crushing it because they're spending a crazy amount of money on advertising. They're everywhere. They're on billboards, emails. They're doing everything: TV, radio. So people aren't attracted to them because of their discounts. They're attracted to them because they're familiar with them. They know who they are. So that's how Empire earns their business. What Empire does is not sustainable for a lot of us. We can't spend that kind of money on marketing and we don't want to. It's 20% of their sales. It's a crazy amount of money. So that's not where you want to be at. What we're suggesting here is even less than 5%. Okay, upselling. So upselling, certainly carpet, carpet pad. You can upsell whenever you're doing a hard surface. You can upsell by putting in brand new baseboards. There's always ways to upsell and give a customer an opportunity to buy more. This isn't about getting money from customers. Everything we're doing is about creating a great customer experience. It's not about putting pressure on them. It's not about being some kind of evil salesperson. Anything that you sell that's a deluxe item, that's gorgeous, that costs them more money, they are going to love and appreciate you for that. You know, if you ever went in and bought a car and they talked you into a nicer car, you never drove off pissed off at the salesperson because you spent more money. You're like, oh man, I'm glad I got the upgrades. I'm glad I got this nicer car. I'm glad I got these features. Same thing, guys. When you're selling flooring or anything that you're selling, it people are thrilled when they get the upgrades. They're thrilled when you upsell them and give them an opportunity to buy something nicer. If you get something within their budget, you got something within their budget. That's not very, very thrilling. Improve our marketing. We have so many great opportunities. I am excited about this year. Some of the tools we have, some of the things that we can do. I think marketing has, as complicated as it is, it's gotten easier than ever. And the opportunities that you guys have to do marketing that costs no money is fantastic. So I don't even have to sell you anything on marketing wise because I find that the paid stuff is not working as good as the free stuff. So, but the free stuff takes a little bit of work. So, if you're willing to do the work and you want free customers, free leads, that opportunity is there for you. And it's a great way to stay ahead and beat the competition. I always like to look for like what's the next big thing? What's that thing that's going to work better that nobody else is doing? At one time when I started off in business, that big thing was getting the 5-star reviews. It was something nobody else was getting reviews. This is back in 2015. And I always knew that that party wasn't going to last because eventually everybody will start getting reviews. And we've gotten to the point where everybody's getting reviews. Well, you see, even social media marketing, a lot of people are getting on board. I'm seeing a lot of videos, a lot of content on Instagram, on Facebook. There is a lot of social media marketing going on within the flooring industry, which is great. But the opportunity to be the leader and be ahead of the game isn't quite there. So it's really hard to figure out like what's the next big thing or what can you do that nobody else is doing. I've got an idea for you. So I'm going to show you. Here's 4 ways that you guys can grow your flooring business in 2025. Starts off first, improve your marketing. There is so many opportunities to improve your website and maybe get a better web company, get a good advisor, get help with it, be involved. But a lot of these websites absolutely suck. And it sucks from a customer standpoint. If I go there as a customer trying to navigate my way around, how many buttons do I have to click to find what I'm looking for on the website? Simple things, guys. If you are focused on shop at home, do you have a van or a vehicle on the face of your website that really emphasizes the fact that you do shop at home? You know, if you have a showroom and you're trying to bring people to your showroom, do you have a clickable address where they can click on that address and they get a map that goes right to your showroom? Let's make it easy for customers to shop with us. Is there any kind of image of you, your personality? It could be a cartoon image or your family to show that they're doing business with you, a unique company. Or do you look like every other website? Could I go to 3 websites in your neighborhood and just change the names around and it's all pretty much the same? What's making you stand out as somebody that they want to do business with? So spend a little bit of money and do it the right way versus trying to get by cheap. You know, it's you're better off not to spend any money than to spend a little bit of money. So I think $3,500 is what I would budget for $1 million in business. So $3,500 going to pay-per-click advertising, going to improving your SEO. And then there are other things that you'll do throughout the year, such as home shows, vehicle wraps, signs. But all in all, about $3,500 a month for every $1 million in business is a good budget number. And as you get higher and higher, you can actually reduce that number because you'll be more efficient. I think the real play here is this: dominate a product category and a brand. Now, I think if you sell carpet, dominate carpet. I mean, be the king of carpet in your area. If you sell luxury vinyl or laminate, those are a little bit harder, but the way to make that more effective and better is to pick up a brand, say Revwood or Lions Flooring, or if you don't carry any good brand, make up your own brand. You could take any brand and make it, this company is Best Flooring that I did this ad for. And I was just futzing around on Canva and created this ad real quick, just to give them an example of what they should be doing. But I don't know if you guys remember, I did a post about getting Bob Flooring. Well, what's Bob Flooring? With Bob, I'm just attracting attention. I want people to go, well, what's Bob's Flooring? If they're doing that and they click on my website, man, I won the game. If I bring them in. So Bob Flooring for them is best of the best. So I can have Bob Flooring as best of the best. And now when I get them there, I can tell them a story. I can say why Bob Flooring is especially made for stairs or especially made for basement homes. Why Bob's Flooring is one of the things that big mistakes that a lot of flooring companies are making is they keep talking about the durability of the flooring. Get away from that durability crap. You guys are not building flooring for somebody overhauling a truck engine in their living room. Okay, you're selling flooring to women who want a gorgeous house. Start talking about how beautiful the style and the selection is, how beautiful it looks, how beautiful the finish is. You guys got to start talking about it from a design standpoint, not a durability standpoint. It's not moving the needle. These women are not shopping for new flooring because they want something more durable than what they have, or they want waterproof. They hate what they have now. What they have now is ugly. So they're looking for something more beautiful, not something more durable. But if all your marketing is around a brand, now if my brand is Revwood, when I go into my website, I have some categories. I have carpet, luxury vinyl, laminate. I would have Revwood as its own category. It's something unique that I want people to click on that. And then on that page, I'm going to make a little effort to tell a story about why this product is so great. I want people to be specifically attracted to my product and that brand because they're looking for flooring. They're not looking for a reliable flooring dealer. Most people trust that you're going to do a good job. Okay, you got a website, you got a business. They kind of trust that you're doing a good job. So we got to attract them in other ways. When we have an opportunity to sell to them, then we could talk about why we're better or why they should trust us and why they should be afraid to not use us. That stuff is in your sales presentation, not your marketing. When you're marketing things that they want. It's the product that they're looking for. It's the transformation in their home. It's not about you guys being good and reliable. That's your sales part, not your marketing part. Shoot videos, create good ads. I mean, it's so simple to shoot videos and create good ads. I know it's frustrating. It takes a little bit of time, but some of these things like CapCut, I don't know if you saw the video I just did where I was able to pour water out of my book. I'm learning some stuff that's really cool. But even without learning this stuff, I cloned myself in one ad. That was kind of cool. So I'm learning cool stuff. But before learning all that cool stuff, I mean, just doing the basic of putting in captions and being able to edit. CapCut is so easy to use. And it's free. You can download it for free, but go ahead and get the paid version because it gives you a little bit more features. It's very cheap. but it's kind of fun. Create a couple videos each week, post them on your social media, post them on Facebook, post them on Instagram. If you have TikTok, do that. Don't worry about getting on so many platforms, but you know, Facebook and Instagram are nice because they talk to each other. So anything you post on Facebook shows up automatically on Instagram or vice versa. So it's a little bit easier for you to manage. But you don't have to be everywhere on everything. So don't worry about that. Now, I think the unique opportunity that you have is YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google. Uh, it'll help your SEO. You could tie it in with your website. Anybody that does a search, uh, Google looks at YouTube first. So information, advice, if you guys are constantly posting videos on YouTube about flooring, about your project, you're tagging the words right. So you got to learn a little bit about it. Go in there and tag the words. Create a YouTube channel if you haven't, it's free. And then learn a little bit about how to use it. I think it's the one outlier where you can be better than everybody else as far as getting free business. And again, that free business is really good business. Uh, so somebody that finds you organically by doing a search is great business. I just had a YouTube, somebody shared it with me. This was fantastic. They were doing Chat GPT and they were looking at what they should spend on marketing. And one of my videos came up through YouTube. And that was thrilling for me. I mean, to show up under Chat GPT to be recommended, that was fantastic. And you guys have the same ability in your area, in your town. You could dominate a product category in your town. You can also share that same video that you produced on Facebook, on Instagram. You can share it to your website profile, your Google business profile. You can get a lot of use out of that. That's stuff you guys can do on your own. And maybe you can even hire somebody through Fiverr or something like that that can post these videos for you, where you shoot the video, maybe they do the editing. There are simple ways and simple solutions to have better, more effective marketing that doesn't cost you a fortune. One of the greatest improvements you'll make in your business is make selling easy and fun. It's going to increase your profits 10% easily. So, one, price your showroom out. Uh, I get a lot of kickback on this, and we've proven it over and over and over again that Geraldine, you had something to say?
Yeah, I did want to add on the marketing part is one of the things that we've seen is making sure that y'all are asking for reviews from your clients. It's most we have gotten a lot of people or clients coming in saying that they found us and our reviews. We've got over 500 Google reviews on our platform, 508 Google reviews on our platform because we are consistently asking for those reviews. Another thing that we are going to be working on this year is going back and the people that took the time to create these amazing reviews and asking them to do a video testimony. So if you have time, um, to ask your clients, previous clients, if you could go and shoot a quick 3-minute testimonial videos. That's a really good leverage right now. I know a lot of people look for those on their videos as testimonies, like real people saying, hey, how great these videos are. It's really going to set you apart from other flooring companies in your area.
One
Yeah.
of the best ways we found to ask for reviews is call them up at the end of the job and say, "Hey,
Mhm.
how would you rate the installer? Give me from one to
Yep.
five." And if they say five, you say, "Would you do me a favor? Would you write a review and mention the installer's name in that
Mhm.
review?" It means a lot to these guys and it really helps them do a better job. Now, it does a couple of things. One, you're not asking them to review you or the company. You're asking them to review the installer who just worked his ass off, putting in beautiful new flooring. So they're grateful. And yeah, if it helps the installer, they're happy to do that. Two, it makes the review a lot better because Google likes those longer reviews. So when they mention the installer, it'll make that longer. But
Mhm.
the next thing you need to do is respond to the reviews. And when you respond, don't say, thank you for taking the time to review our company. We appreciate your business. You want to say, hey, I'm glad the install, use keywords in your response because
Yeah.
Google likes that. It picks that up from an SEO standpoint. So you want to say, I'm glad your carpet install looks great. If you need any other flooring, let us know. And we look forward to working with you again in the future, something like that. But make sure you throw some keywords in on your response because all these little things help.
Yeah.
Okay, so making selling easy and fun, pricing the showroom out. Well, and Geraldine, you chime in on this one. Pricing the showroom, we've seen such a dramatic difference between when you don't have the prices and then when you do. How customers shop is so different, and you'll see that they gravitate towards things that are more expensive, for one. Two, when you don't price the showroom, you're making it about the price because you have to tell the customer what the price is, and sometimes you have to look it up. But let's say you even know what the price is. If it's not on there, now what you do is you're forcing the customer to remember what you said. And then they want to know how much this one costs. Now
Mhm.
they're comparing these products based on price rather than looking for something that they like. And when I ask people, why do you think somebody, when they call you up, why do you think they ask you, how much do you charge? Oh, well, they're just a price shopper. Okay, let's think about this a little bit. Now, if you think they're just a price shopper when they ask you that question on the phone, what do you think about them when they're in your showroom and they ask you how much that costs? You say, well, that's more legitimate. But they feel like they're being a price shopper. You're embarrassing them. It's embarrassing as a customer to have to ask, what does this cost? Because I feel like you're judging me that I can't afford this. So you're putting me in an uncomfortable position as the customer when I have to ask, what does this cost? Well, what does this cost? Well, how much is this? Then I'm in an uncomfortable position of feeling like, well, you probably just think I'm a price shopper.
It's a win-win situation, especially if you are going to hire somebody new. And there's no way. I mean, I'm in the showroom every single day, and there's no way I can remember the price on every single product. And so when somebody comes in and you're training somebody new, or yourself, you don't have to keep looking up the pricing because, yeah, people are curious about price. It's just when you go to a grocery store, there's pricing on everything.
Yeah.
And you tend to go more with the brand that you know over the price a lot of the times when you go to a store. And people that's done the research are going to say, okay, a Mohawk is good or a Shaw is really good. I saw a really good they do the research based on the product that they want, not the price. When they go to a showroom and they're going to go to that product. Now that product might be the most expensive thing in there, but they know that, and now they can actually start, okay, now I can start my journey on the style, right? Once they know the pricing of the product up front, they can start having fun when it comes to the style. I did that on Tuesday. A customer came in and they had a specific style that they wanted, um, and I took them to the pricing, and then they saw, oh, that's a lot more expensive than I want. Now let's go to this. And then we got to the price range that they liked, and then we just got that out of the way, and then we started having fun with the design. And a lot of the times, once the pricing is out of the way and they have a specific design, they actually start going up to the more expensive stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they'll justify
Um,
it on their own. You don't have
yeah,
to sell
yeah.
them
Get
because
it
they'll
out of the
they'll talk
way.
themselves into what they want.
Yeah.
So this is another thing that's huge. I don't like line item quotes, and it's one of the questions I always ask: do you do a line item quote or one price? If you have to do it anyway, you're going to have to tear out the old flooring. You're going to have to install the new flooring. You're going to have to do something with the baseboards. You're more than likely going to have to move the furniture because most people that can afford flooring have bad backs and can't move their own furniture. So it makes it a consideration and an opportunity for them to say no every time you put another line item in there. But if you give them one price that includes everything, it makes it easy for them to buy. And just bundle your services, and it also makes it easier to give the estimate. So what you can do as a decorator is focus on decorating and give them something beautiful rather than trying to figure out the pricing. It makes figuring out pricing so much easier that you can build rapport with the customer, enjoy the conversation with them, and not be so worried about forgetting things. This is another great thing is as a new salesperson, you don't have to worry about them. Oh man, you didn't charge for baseboards, or oh, you didn't charge for floor prep, because if it's all built in, then that new salesperson doesn't have to remember it all. Makes training them so much easier. You could train a new salesperson in 2 weeks how to sell flooring, and somebody with no experience at all. And then again, have the prices on the material. So have it on your sample. Carpet samples, we have it all inclusive. So it includes installation, tear out, carpet pad upgrade, furniture move, everything. Hard surface, tend to price the installation out separate from the material. But having the price on that board, it validates the cost of it. And you can start off with higher prices and offer discounts. There's a lot of opportunities that you can have. Again, especially with the marketing strategy we were talking about, where let's say you're crushing it with Revwood, you could charge $8.97 a foot, but we're the number one seller of Revwood in this area. So we have a sale from our vendor where we're giving you 40% off. Great sale, great price. So I would rather buy this expensive product for $5.97 than something for $4.97, because I know since this was priced higher, it just tells me. That's another thing about price in the showroom. Having things priced higher, it gives people an indication this is better quality. They may even think it's better looking because it's priced higher, because people are attracted to things that are more expensive. It's just an indication of quality. Whether that's true or not, whether it's fair or not, people can see a higher price and match that with the quality of the product. So there's a lot of advantages to pricing the materials, the samples, and then again, bundling your prices. And it makes selling easy and fun. So you can focus on decorating. I love this analogy. Let's make love tomorrow. Give her an opportunity to buy now. So imagine that you are on a date, or you're home, or you're Patrick Swayze and she's Demi Moore, and you guys are molding clay together and you're getting excited and this is sexy and fun. And then you guys decide, hey, let's have sex tomorrow. That's what you're doing on your appointments. Uh, Again, when you're with a customer, you get them excited. You talk about it, you're decorated and all that. Like, hey, I'll email you a quote tomorrow. Well, what happens to that enthusiasm? That you're going to do the project, you're going to move the furniture, you're going to tear it out, you're going to do the baseboards. This thing's going to look gorgeous. I'll email you tomorrow. That is exactly like saying, well, let's have sex tomorrow. So you just ruin all that good vibe, that enthusiasm that you had, that would make them want to go with the quote now. So don't waste that with an email the next day. I mean, at bare minimum, you've got a big job that maybe you got to figure out. So set an appointment to go in there and to go over it with them. You're talking an $18,000-$20,000 job. I want to go over that job with the customer. I don't want to email them. So set an appointment for the next day if you have to, but good Lord, don't email them a quote. This is important. Everyone's, oh, I don't want to pressure them. I don't want to do that to them. Well, good Lord, man, if you don't think that it's in the best interest for them to use you over anybody else, you probably shouldn't be in the business. If you think it's better for them to use you over anybody else, then you have an obligation to close that job as hard as possible. It's a quote from Chet Holmes. So, would you rather give them the opportunity to go with Empire? It's not only sucks to lose the job to somebody like Empire, but you're doing them a disservice by allowing them to go with a company that isn't going to do as good a job as you are. Give them an opportunity to buy now. Go ahead. There's nothing evil. There's nothing unethical about closing the sale and getting the job. You're going to do the work that you said you're going to do for the money that you agreed to do it for. Now you don't have to pressure them, but give them a price. You don't have to stand there and say, well, are you going to go with it or not? And I teach a lot of things about closing. I'll never teach something that makes me uncomfortable. I never teach any kind of pressure, high pressure lines. The highest pressure is, did you want to use a check or did you want to put this on a credit card? Oh, I don't want to go with it now, or I got to talk it over with my husband. Okay. You know, what would you guys like to talk about? Or is he here? We could talk about it, but nothing. I'll leave if I have to. I'm not worried about pressuring them. Here's the other thing though. If you give them a price in the home and you give them the quote, they're more likely to go with you. Even if they say, let us talk it over. They're much more likely to go with you than they are if you email a quote. And think about this, your competition is emailing quotes. And sometimes your competition isn't getting back to them. I just saw on Tile Money where this guy said he got back to the customer. The customer says, well, I guess you don't want my business. But it was like 4 or 5 people that didn't give this guy a quote. So, if he would have just given it to them in the home, he could have been done with it. Another thing that's really important is people talk about, I need time management. Give a quote in the home and then you're done. A lot of people are taking the information back. They spend 30 minutes to an hour creating the quote, emailing it to the customer. That's a lot of time. And sometimes you don't get around to it as quickly as you'd like to. Well, good Lord, man, just make it simple on yourself. Give them the estimate, write it up on a piece of paper. You don't need to use any fancy software. Write it up on a piece of paper, hand them the quote. I'm not a fan of using software in the home. I like one-on-one. I like to develop my rapport, my relationship with them. I think once you get on an electronic screen, they have a tendency to get on their phone and look through Facebook or look through something. It's like they're jealous of you because you're on electronics, so they want to get on electronics. So I'm for pen and paper. Go ahead and close the job. Definitely use Floor's app, enter it in there after you get the sale. But there's no reason that you have to use all that stuff while you're in the home. I think your closing rate would actually go up with pen and paper than it would with an electronic device. Okay, number 4 is hire a mentor or coach. I have no shame in telling you that I will get you there faster. So if you join the Legacy Mastermind or the Top Gun program, I'll make this real easy for you. We'll work over your pricing. I'm going to help you price your showroom and all of your flooring, the right margins, show you the process, show you the system, how to do that. So it makes it easy for you and for your salesperson. I'm going to show you how to bundle your labor prices. So again, giving an estimate will be easy. You're going to get excellent sales training for you and your team. So you're prepared to everything from answering the phone to closing the sale in the home. And we're going to work on your marketing so that you're getting good results without wasting thousands of dollars on things that don't work. We're having great success. Like I said, I've got several clients that'll do $1 million more next year. We call our program 90K in 90 days because we know that we'll get you an extra 90K in business in 90 days by using these strategies. So if you're the type of person willing to make those changes in your business, you're going to have an incredible 2025. And I think for most of you, you'll do $1 million more. If you miss the mark and only do $850,000 more, well, then you'll probably be pretty happy with that. But the opportunity is there. It's better than ever for us to just really crush it in this industry. All right. So I want to know, guys, how can I help you guys out right now? You got any questions, anything that we can do to help you guys reach your goals in 2025? Go ahead and unmute yourself and give us a shout out. Let us know what we can do to help you out.